Hello and welcome to Cinema 104, Film History. I put together a fantastic class that's going to examine the rich legacy of American filmmaking and Hollywood, which I'm sure you guys all know a lot about. So let's get down to the course basics. This is an orientation video to basically get you ready for the course, explain all the various parts, and give you kind of a head start of what to do. I'm also going to give you some tips on how to succeed in the course. So here we go. 15 homeworks we have. There's 4 questions each. Short answer, only 1 to 2 pages. 4 quizzes. You'll have 40 plus objective questions with 1 short essay. No midterm, no final, no essay. Everything you need is provided in the course, including the study guide. Okay, that's very important. The course is built around weekly modules. 1 week equals 1 module. Each week there are lectures, videos, a reading assignment, and film clips to watch, and of course homework. Okay, each built within each weekly module. Okay, so moving on to a couple of key reminders. All right, you have a homework due every week in the class. That's on Tuesdays. Your quizzes are due on Sundays, but every week you'll have a homework due, except for I believe week 9 as we come back from spring break. No homework over spring break. Read my announcements. This is really important. This is where I will teach and give you help. Okay. So make sure you check in. When you check into the course, read those first. When you get into the course, I want you to go to the course docs and look at the study guide. Check out the course calendar. Very important. I have all the information there. And look at the reading assignments document for a list of all the reading assignments for both the textbook in the course and for the study guide. More on that in a second. Go to your grades, and when you're in the class, you can check out your grades, see how you're doing, and also see my comments on your work. Very important. And the appendix has writing help, resources, and research and more. So you check that out for help in the course. Okay, so let me give you a weekly flow to your week. Here's kind of what you want to do. First off, you want to read the study guide. Now, the study guide versus the book. If you want to get the book, you may. It's optional, but you don't have to. Study guide should be enough. If you love reading textbooks, you're a really good literary learner, you absolutely need an A in the class, by all means, get the textbook. But you have the option to do that or not. Okay, so you're going to read the study guide, all right? And you'll find the list of reading assignments under reading assignments document and course documents. It's also listed on the calendar, all right? So then after that, watch my brief lecture. It's only going to be about 5 minutes. Today's lecture is going to be about 10, and that's going to be the longest one of the semester. But what I do in those 5 minutes is really sum up what's happening in the 5 years that we're addressing in each week. And I give you sort of the overview and highlight the key and important things that you will need to know. All right. Then there's also some other lectures that go into more detail. Those are videos explaining things like the studio system or film noir. And then there's some film clips. Now what I've done is I've selected one film clip which explains the film. So you have commentary, you get to see clips, you get to see some scenes, and that gives you a lot of information about the film. This is a survey course. We aren't going deep into each of these films. We're trying to get a sense of the overall sense of film history. Okay, so watch as many of those clips as you can. And then, of course, there's the optional clips. And those you might, if you're into film, you might find some of those interesting. They go off into more specific areas that you won't be tested on. Optional videos are optional. Okay? So now let me show you a couple things in the course. Let's talk about the study guide real quick. So check it out. This is what the course looks like. When you log in, you'll see this. And what you will see, of course, is the course introduction letter, which I've sent to you. You can go ahead and read it there if you missed it. If you're new to online instruction, you want to go to this one here. And this general area helps you with just orienting to online. Course documents, I mentioned those. You got your syllabus, your calendar, your study guide. I've got it in doc form as well as PDF. If you have Microsoft Word new version, then you can open that version and download it, and you'll get to see all the GIFs I put in there, various little clips from films, which is cool. If you don't, the PDF version will work just fine. Okay. So as each week will look something like this. It won't have strategies for success. This is our first week, week 0. This is the week presumably you're in. So here's some information on submitting assignments, getting in touch with your professor, um, read course workflow. That's really important. Definitely read that because that basically breaks down everything I'm talking to you. And of course, the lecture that you're watching right now. All right. Then here's the rest of the weeks. Okay. You just click on the little arrow and those will load up, and each week is laid out for you. Here's a look at our course calendar. As you can see, all the dates are here. You have your reading chapters for American Cinema textbook if you choose to do that. Here's the study guide. Here's the topics. On the other side, we have the films. Whoops, wait, I'm going the wrong way. What? On the other side, we have the films, and of course, the homework that's due right there. Okay. Okay, when you get in your study guide, there'll be, of course, a table of contents. Start there. That kind of breaks down the course. You have the page numbers there. What's the topic, the general topic is for each week. I kind of gave each week a frame, so I organized the films conceptually around certain topics. Okay, so you have that, the list of films there with the director, the genre, the awards that were won, just kind of good general information. Okay. As you get into the study guide, one thing I wanted to point out was the terms. If you see a red box marked with terms, those are good things to study for the quiz because the quiz will be taken from the study guide. So all the concepts that are in there, like the eras or the genres, look out for those eras and genres, plus the terms highlighted. The way the study guide is organized into 3 basic sessions for each week. So the first you have general history, like what was going on in the U.S. Then you have Hollywood history, what was going on in Hollywood, technical improvements, new stars and directors that were on the rise, changes in the Hollywood rules and makeup, okay? So all of that is listed there. And then the last section is films listed, the film clips, where I have all the information on the films that I want you to watch clips from. I go into more detail about that, and then I end with some extra films and sort of some surplus information on some Hollywood scandals. So that's how it's divided up. 3 sections: history, Hollywood history, and specific information about the films I selected. Okay? So look for that. You will also see another thing to look for is anytime you see lists 1, 2, 3, 4 or bulletin, this is on the studio system. This is from your booklet. And when you see that, that's another thing to look for the quizzes, because that's going to be something that I'm likely to quiz you on. I might say, what are the characteristics of the studio system as you see here? Okay, so hopefully that's very clear. So let me go ahead and go back and talk to you about the final things I wanted to bring up, which I'm just pulling up here on my list. So just to set up the course, a few comments. So when the class begins, 1945, World War II is over. Okay, that's a monumental event, which I get into briefly in the introduction, but it's not of major concern to the class because we're dealing with events after. So I give you a little intro history, but the main thing you know is that this was Hollywood's golden age, and it was coming to an end by 1946 when the attendance in Hollywood theaters reaches its peak and then begins to drop afterwards. So that's when things really begin to change. So a few things to think about in terms of the course is we're learning more than just film history. We're also learning some U.S. history, and we're understanding how those two things influence each other. So we're really learning about our society and our culture, and films are a big part of that. So the name of the textbook that you may choose to get, which is American Cinema, American Culture by John Belton. Okay, movies reflect and even create sometimes the culture that we have. Saturday Night Fever was responsible for creating the disco craze of the 1970s. So a couple of key points. Think about these, and these are listed in your study guide. They're listed within every unit. Just want you to always be thinking about these 6 things that are sort of threads that run through the course. Number 1, movie protagonists, heroes, reflect the audience that goes to see them. So teen horror movies attract a teen audience, and they have teen stars in them. Movies reflect the societal values of the time in which they were made. Seems obvious. That's pretty much true of all art. Movies often examine the past to make sense of the present. Okay, going back to sort of understand something in the past, either comment or understand the present. Movies made during the censorship years comment on current issues covertly. So movies made, say, before 1966, they were under some certain censorship rules that you'll learn in the class. And very often their commentary is on the down low. It's done covertly. Movies and genres and themes get revised, updated for a new generation. Movies about real events often come out years later due to delays from the filmmaking process or evolving public sentiment. Okay, so very often a film that's really going to comment on the times doesn't happen to a few years later when the script has had time to be written and when the feeling and the sentiment of the public has galvanized on the event, which may take multiple years. All right, so that pretty much is a great introduction to get us started. I hope you're excited. I know I am. Reach out if you have any questions. This should pretty much explain to you how to get started, and the rest of the instructions are all in written form. But you can reach me by email if you have questions or issues. All right? All right, good luck, everybody, and we'll see you soon.